I'm Matthew, and I'm going to be going over turning threat into a challenge and understanding signs and spreading awareness. But first, we have to do a massive shout out to Muzzer, aka our amazing lecturer, Murray Griffin. Anyway, to start off with, doing high performance and stress. When youth sports prioritise winning over development, youth athletes can experience significant psychological pressure, leading to anxiety, fear of failure, perfectionism, and low self-esteem. This stress can be a negative effect on both the mental health and all-out enjoyment of the sport. Kids tend to fall out of love in the sport when they work at a high pay, at like a high part of their early lives in sport. So we're going to go over to step 2 now. So, burnout and overtraining. Intense training schedules, year-round competition, specialisation in one sport can increase the risk of burnout. Burnout is characterization by environmental enthusiasm, loss of motivation, and decreased performance. Young athletes begin to feel physically and mentally drained, leading them to quit. So it tends to start off when kids tend to start off with a sport when they're younger. They tend to quit that sport and move on to a new sport to try new ones. Anyway, so moving over to step 3 now. Identifying issues and emotional impact. Some youth athletes can develop a strong identity centered solely around being an athlete, which is bad if they get injured or lose their place in the team, or they have a lack of performance and get dropped. This can cause a loss of identity. So they rely on that identity as their main core of when they're younger and end up saying that towards kids. And then it can lead to depression, reduced confidence, and this narrow self-concept can make it difficult to cope with setbacks or life outside of sports. So kids could have a worse life and they could be very unmotivated in school and other places. And finally, step 4. Negative social influences. Unhealthy coaching styles, they're bad. Basically, unhealthy coaching styles can lead to kids feeling very depressed or feeling very anxious about themselves. Extensive parental pressure is another one. Parents tend to put a lot more pressure on the kids than the kids themselves. And then toxic team environment. You never know with kids, they tend to bully other kids during certain situations. These can damage a young athlete's self-worth and motivation. These negative social experiences may lead to long-term psychological effects and strained relationships. That's basically it for turning threat into a challenge and understanding signs and spreading awareness in youth sports.